Today I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons why you should retire as soon as you can. And I'm going to take you on a walk across my property, and we're going to end up somewhere pretty cool to sort of illustrate my point. And I'm teasing you guys a little bit here. I haven't showed the inside of my house yet. So I'm starting here in my house. There's my camera I usually film with. We're going live. We're not live. We're going handheld with the GoPro. And I got to drop this off for my wife on the way. She's working hard up at the top of the driveway there. So let's take you outside here, and let's talk about why you guys should retire as soon as you can. Just in case you're new here, this is the Retirement Mentality Channel. It's a place where I want to change your mentality about retirement. And today I'm going to do that by talking about why you should retire as soon as possible. And we're going to walk across my property. So let's just jump right into it. Number one reason is age is more than just a number. 60 is not the new 50. And you have a limited amount of time here on this planet. I'll illustrate this by look at a picture of yourself from 10 years ago. You probably look a little bit skinnier. I know I did. And you probably look a little bit younger. You probably had a little less gray hair. And even go back and look at maybe a vacation that you took 10 years ago. Could you do today the vacation that you could have done 10 years ago? I got the cicadas in this tree singing to us here. So the point I'm trying to illustrate is the longer you wait to retire, the less you're going to be able to do as far as traveling, golfing, boating, whatever it is you want to do. Your body just can't do as much the longer that you wait. Because I did retire early, most of the people I hang out with are retired, and most of them are older than me, and most of them are about 10 years older than me. I'm 52. A lot of my friends are in their early 60s, and they can pretty much hang with me. Some of them can even still outperform me a little bit. But, if you retire at 60, look at your friends who are 70. Do you want them to go on your vacation with you? Hold on. Here's my mission.
Hi.
I brought you another battery.
Thank you.
Do you
I
need it?
it.
You
Yes.
do need it? Okay.
Yes.
She's out here doing the real work
Mm-hmm.
while I make silly videos. So give her a thumbs up down there in the video for being out here in the hot sun,
Yes.
raking up these leaves. Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Okay, so the point here was just simply that the earlier you can retire, the more of your body and your strength left you're going to have, so you can do more things. And number two is that the clock is ticking. And you might think, well, that sounds like number one, Jeff, but it is different. What I mean by the clock is ticking is that it's not just about having a young body to go do fun things and travel the world. But I don't know, have you ever heard when people say, like, by the time you're 60, you only have 17 summers left on the planet or something like that? I don't know what the real numbers are. But when you say summers instead of years, it kind of makes you think, if you take one big vacation per year, and by the time you're 60, if most people can't travel after they're 70, that means you got 10 vacations left. So if you wait till 65, maybe you got only 5 vacations left. So, the clock is ticking, and the longer you wait to retire, the less of the years you're going to have, obviously, to enjoy it. And I don't think a lot of people think, well, if I work till 62 or I work till 65, how much time that actually gives you to enjoy your retirement. I basically retired at 45, and I still have done some work and sold some real estate on the side and had a couple side hustles and made some money. But since retiring at 45, retiring, basically I had the freedom and the time to move about the planet and do whatever I wanted. And we moved down to the Virgin Islands. We lived in the Caribbean for 3 years. I bought a house in Puerto Rico. I went back to Florida, and I spent another 3 years back in Florida fishing with my buddies, going on the boat like almost every day during the summer, at least a couple times a week. And now we bought this house here in Spain, and I've got all this property. I haven't told you guys how much property I have yet, but this is all my land that we're walking across. I got to slow down. I'm going to run out of breath going up this hill. And one of the things I like to do on this land, this is one of the things I do every morning, is I get up and I walk out here, and we'll show you at the end why we're going on this little mission. But it's one of my favorite things I do every day. And so it brings me to number 3, which is enough is enough already. Most people just keep working too long, one more year syndrome. if I work one more year, I'll just get a little bit extra money in the old 401k, or I can, put an extra $10,000 in the stock market or whatever it is. And, if you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. The reason people don't know when they have enough is because they don't know what they want to do in their retirement. They don't know what they want their life to look like. They don't know if they want to use geo arbitrage and buy a house in Europe and buy a bunch of land and traipse across it and become a little gentleman farmer or whatever. If you know what you want your life to look like, you know how much it can cost. And if you know how much your life will cost, you know how much you need for retirement. And that, my friends, is the key to not working too long. A lot of people, I think, work an extra year or an extra 5 years to get the extra money that they're probably never even going to spend. If you say, well, it's just extra money, I'll work 2 more extra years and get an extra $100,000 in the old retirement account, but then you never use that extra 100 grand. That means you just wasted 2 years of your life to get money that you're never going to spend when you could be out in nature, enjoying your life. And number 4 is family and friends. And there's 2 components to this one. One of them, let's start with friends. One of the things that I've been able to do since I've been retired is rekindling old friendships with people I haven't seen in many, many moons. We went out to Montana last year. We did a big trip through Montana. And I saw my old buddies out there that I hadn't seen in like 15 years. And that was really great catching up with them. And I went on a fishing trip with an old college buddy a couple of years ago. And then we kind of rekindled, and I've since gone on another big tuna fishing trip with him last year, or this year. I guess I was in February. And a friend of mine that I haven't seen in 20 years who lives in Alaska was just doing a motorcycle ride through Spain. And he was in Pamplona 2 hours away. So I got in the car and drove over there, spent the night in Pamplona for a night, got a hotel room, and got to go hang out with him. And that was really fun, catching up with him and having the time and the energy and the, being able to do whatever the fuck you want is really nice to keep those old friendships alive and, even, spend more time with current friends. One thing I haven't done is made any friends here in Spain. I got to work on that. But also I said family, I'm to my destination. I don't want to show you what's over there yet. It'll spoil the surprise. So maybe I'll sit on this rock right here and we'll talk for a second. So the other thing is family. And I've mentioned it before. My dad passed this year, and I was able to go to Atlanta where my parents lived and help with the funeral and spend as much time with my mom and be there for my mom as much as she needed. And my brother was able to do that also. But the whole time he was there, he was trying to get work and family leave releases, and he didn't know if he was going to get paid while he was there, or if it was going to come out of his vacation days, and it was stressful and blah blah blah. But because I'm retired, I had as much time to spend with my family as they needed, and that's very nice to be able to do. So keeping old friendships alive. Oh, look at that, I got a sticker in my hand. There's a lot of pokey stuff out here. Being able to spend as much time with your family and being able to rekindle old friendships and spend time with your friends, fishing and doing whatever, is really freaking awesome. And the 5th and last reason is sort of like, it's another thing related to time, but it's about transitioning into retirement. If you don't just wake up and then you're retired and you just have this perfect retirement life. Maybe if some people do, but for most people, you spend your whole life saving, being frugal, and trying to save enough money for your retirement, and then all of a sudden the money coming in shuts off, and all of a sudden it's only going out. And so a lot of people like to try to litmus test their retirement plan for the first year or 2 to make sure all the budgets and all the numbers their financial planner has run are all going to actually hold true, and they're not going to run out of money, and their spending is going to hold up. And even besides the financial part, some people have a hard time adjusting to not having a schedule, not having anything to do. They have to figure out how to adjust to being retired. And so that could take a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I think a lot of people test that budget out for a year or 2 before they really start to spend money and let the wallet open up a little bit. So say you're going to work till 65, and then you think you're going to have 5 or 6 years to travel till you're 70, 71 years old. And all of a sudden you wait 2 more years to make sure the budget works out. Now you're 67, you're just really running out of time to enjoy the fruits of all of that labor. So you've got to really think about how long it's going to take to transition into retirement and factor that into all of your numbers. Okay, so the reason we have walked up here across my property, did you see that mountain back there? So pretty up here. And this road goes way up here. I haven't even been to the top of my property yet. It's too far up there. I haven't even made it all the way. But the reason that I get up every morning, I get excited, and I come out here is I set up this trail camera and I watch the wildlife that goes by out here. And I love getting up every morning to see what kind of wildlife comes by here. So I'm gonna take the card out of here. If you want to stick around for another minute after the video ends, I'll show you what wildlife has walked through here. See, there's a trail next to this rock that goes between that tree and this big rock, and there's a big trail that goes back down there, a big game trail, besides this road that's kind of cut in across. This road goes about halfway up my property. So I think this could be a crossing point for a lot of animals, so I'm excited to see that. So if you like this video, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, do all the things you know you're supposed to do, and go watch this video next if you're close to retirement but you're nervous about it. I did a video about being afraid to retire and why you shouldn't be afraid. So go watch that video next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, my friends. Okay, well, I just realized that the video is not going to pop up at the correct moment because of this extra footage. But look, here is this little deer. We've seen her many times coming across, that this is a new location we haven't tried before. So I expected something to come up next to the rock, but it's coming down the, I call it a road. It used to be a road. Oh, here's a new player. We have not seen her little baby. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. She's still got some spots on her. Oh, I said in a previous video to my wife, I thought that the deer looked like her teats were like hanging a little bit, like maybe she had a baby, and look at there. We do have a baby. Oh, and here is Boots or Socks. I need to pick a name. Leave me a comment down there if you want to name this little guy. We got a fox. Yesterday, I had the camera in a different location, and there were two foxes together. I've been hearing the foxes calling a lot lately, but look how cute he is also. He's just out there hunting. Oh, look. Oh, that's the rock I was just sitting on while I was talking to y'all. Oh, there's a look. Oh, now the speaker comes on. Well, there's a look at some of the wildlife that's running around out here on my property. Thanks for watching.